Boom. Welcome, everybody. I want to welcome everybody across the world, across the nation to the smokers section. As you can see, I got a phenomenal, galactic, huge guest in the house tonight. Rosebud Bitter Dose. Once I get the sound and the audience clapping, I'm gonna get that going. But let me say this: author, hustler, graduate, genius, striver, survivor, a person that has probably done more living than a lot of us will ever do. Ladies and gentlemen of the smoking section, I'd like to present to you the one and only Rosebud Bitter Dose.
What's up, man? Hey, I love it, man. Hey, that was a great introduction.
Man, thank you so much. And we thank you for being here. Blessings to you. This means a lot for our channel. And right off the bat, I'm gonna pull up for you right now. Excuse me. And this is, Hennessy is not sponsoring this at all, but maybe they will be one day. And we're gonna pull up for you. And we want to take a shot. And we want to thank you for coming here and blessing us with your presence. Down there.
Hey,
salute to you.
You know it.
Excuse me. So here at the smoking section, for all the new viewers, people that never watched this, never seen me before, wondering who this guy is, this is the smokers section. 21 and up, 18 and up, cannabis enthusiasts, all things dope. And we like to show the love and share what's absolutely amazing about YouTube and the world we live in. Today's guest, like I said, Rosebud Bitter Dose. Rosebud, if you want to say anything to the guests, if you want to make some shout outs, feel free.
Well, I tell you, man, I don't really know what your audience know about me, but I've done a lot of things. But the thing I'm the most proud of is what I'm doing currently, and that's conducting Sidewalk University. I don't know what you really know about it. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's more than a place for higher learning. Actually, man, it's a place where young men come when they're ready to stop pretending. Now, I don't really know. Matter of fact, let me ask you something. Do you know what one of the most prevalent negatives in our young men is today?
I would say the fact that they don't know who they are, what to do, or where they fit in today's society.
You hit the nail. Leave today's society out, but
Okay.
you hit the nail right on the head. Young men today have an identity crisis. They don't know who they are, and one of the actual biggest problems that young men face today is that they want to be everybody but themselves. When we was young, some of us wanted to sing and play and all, band and all that stuff, but we always wanted to be ourselves. Even when we knew somebody, we grew up with whoever, and this like Confunction. We grew up with Confunction, and when they became stars, we didn't trip out and want to become stars.
Real quick, for my audience that don't know Confunction, look them up. That's a music group. Got myself together. Y'all do the knowledge. Go ahead, Rosebud. Forgive me for my interruption, please.
No problem. But what I'm saying is that's the difference between us and today. We identified with ourselves. We just wanted whoever I am. I wanted to be whatever I was trying to be. I didn't want to be somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, I gotta, this credibility. Most of it through, that pimp stuff, which I'm not into at all anymore. Haven't been into it for a gang of years, 20 or more. But what I'm saying is, I get young guys to come in, and it's almost like a confession. But it takes 3 months. What they do is they come in there. First of all, if you want somebody to listen to you, especially if you want to reach young knuckleheads, not really young teen, young 21, through 30 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, if you want to reach them guys, you have to have a image. You have to have a particular image. Now, if you want to tell them about improvement and life improvement and all that, there are a lot of guys you could reach, but there's hella guys you can't reach because they don't want to hear that bullshit. Not that it's bullshit about life improvement, but they don't want to go the route that whoever this is talking about. So me, since I took the route I took, which was the streets, but you do know I got a master's degree in teaching and learning and technology, which I got a 4.0 in, and
Yes,
I got a bachelor's degree with sociology with an education concentration. So what I'm saying is I combine those two things because I don't know if you know this, but any record mogul, legal, or whatever, Barry Gordy, all them fools, they had a criminal background. Criminals get a lot of CEO training. And if they could focus, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about criminals. But
Go ahead, I'm listening.
What I'm saying is it's so much you learn about running a major business because of how much money you make. You may not have like thousands of employees, but the money is really up there. So you have to kind of be smart about what you're doing. And the thing about it, I had that reputation. Now, I said all that to say why my school is so successful. Because I talk about everything but what I was just talking about. I talk about the things that's going to make them men wherever they are, in whatever environment they're in. I teach them about being honest, and they come in and say, yeah, man, I'm honest. Well, let me ask you this. Can you be social? And can you? I'm sure you can. You say, but when I ask them, they all say yes. And then I give them the first assignment, which is simply doing something social. And I describe what I want them to do and how I want them to do it. And hardly any of them can turn in that first assignment because they realize it's way more difficult to be social than they thought.
So for all of the people that may not know our guest tonight, he's lived an incredible life. Like you said, he's been in the street, he's been in the collegiate atmosphere, and has accomplished glory in both of them. And you can, I can see that you've got the things on the degrees on your wall. You used to have them up there.
Well, my degrees are on that wall. I'm in the new place now.
Okay.
My degrees are on that wall. And this is some artwork I did, but this is an award from Sidewalk University.
Come on now. Salute. Let me salute to you for that. And like he said, he has started, like Rosebud said, he has started a school for young men to learn some of these intricacies that could make them exponentially better. I don't know if you remember when I dropped that word on you when I called exponentially better.
Exponentially, yes.
And that's awesome. And so I'd like to ask you real quick. I know that you're from California, and I just want to start. And I appreciate you really giving that up for our audience to let them know where you are right now, what you're doing, and what your goal is, and what your perspective is. And I appreciate that. I'd like to shout out and say rest in peace to Maroy. I like to do that because that's where I first saw you at.
Michael Maroy, my man, he was a trip. He wasn't a bad guy. He was actually a very good guy. But what he actually did was bring the professionalism to this genre, because before it was just a bunch of Mickey Mouse stuff. It was little stuff that had a little interest to it, but it was done, with no professionalism, the camera, whatever. It was just Michael Maroy. He took it to another level. And it was very cool to me. But success, made him start doing some silly shit. Now I ain't mad at him for it because money is money, and if that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing, trying to make some money. But to just comment on after I think number 2, I think he did 7 of them. But after number 2, he started including rappers. First, he was just straight, talking to niggas about this pimping. Going cross country. Cross country pimping. That's what it was called. He was going cross country. Talking to all the pimps. They was just spitting it out proper, raw. Showing him, the way it is. And I don't know. He must have wanted to keep that up or something, because he started letting rappers come in, and then he started letting the not young, but the dudes that spin donuts and got big old tires where they need a ladder to get in their car and shit. He started letting them motherfuckers on the videos, man, and it lost the impact to me. But what was horrible was when he passed. I had just visited him, and me, white folks, and God dang, I can't think of who else it was. But me and white folks, actually it was me and white folks. And we was up there and we was kicking it with Michael Leroy. And he was telling us about, what he thought about, the older guys and the difference between today and yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And he was finna do some sort of video about it. And he passed.
Man, well, like I said, I want to send a special rest in peace shout out to him and shout out to his family, because that's where I was introduced to you and a lot of other people. He Gangsta Brown and Kenny Red and he was he was moving and grooving. It was captivating, and like you said, he brought a professionalism and a very top-notch film edit that really was inspiring, and it was good to watch. It was good programming, and that's why I saw you.
It was like a movie.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
He did his shit proper, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And where I saw you at, and he came to you. It looked like he came to your home, and it looked like you had a nice sit down in the living room, and you were talking about what really stuck out to me was your family. And you don't have to talk about that if you don't want to, but like I said, that's what stuck out to me, and how you grew up in California. So if you can, or if you please.
No problem, bro. Any question you need what? You want to know how I came up?
Yeah, yes. Could you tell us and tell the audience how you grew, how was it growing up and blowing up in California?
Man, first of all, I wouldn't trade. I had a hard little childhood. My parents was really strict. We didn't have no whole bunch of money. I had 12 brothers and sisters.
12?
Yeah, all by the same parents, all living in the same 4-bedroom house.
Salute.
Hey.
Salute to that.
Hey, about getting something new, nigga never, you ain't getting nothing new. You getting what your big brother had, and it's gonna get passed down in a bike. Nah, you ain't getting none of that. But we had all that because we would go get this frame and get these wheels and hook us some up. And even if we had to use our tennis shoes and put it on the back tire to stop for brakes, because we didn't have no brakes, we had a bike. So what I'm saying is, as I grew up, because we weren't poor, but we just didn't have no extra money with all them kids. I just was a very competitive dude from Jump Street. I don't want nothing you got, but everything you got, I want to have. You know what I'm saying?
Right. For myself.
My friends, they used to get, back in the day, them rainbow iridescent shirts came out. Them Stingrays came out. All my friends got that shit. I didn't get none of that shit. I didn't get none of that shit, man. And I used to just, have a real complex about my clothes and shit. But I got the gift of gab, and I start talking about them. I talk about their mama. I talk about their clothes. I talk about their motherfucking teeth. You know, they breath. I just sigged on them. You know,
Hey,
everybody.
let me ask you a question. When we was young, we called it snapping. In other places, they call it, you know, in older days, they call it the dozens. What did y'all call it?
Signifying.
Signifying.
Man, he sigged you out. Yeah, because we would have signifying contests on the way home from school, on the way to school. You know, the crest might be against Loafers or Floyd Terrace or wherever. And man, I was a monster. I'm telling you, I was a monster.
You was firing on them.
Man, I was a monster. Couldn't nobody fuck with me. You know,
where'd you grow up, bud? Where'd you grow up, Rosebud?
Vallejo, California.
Vallejo. Let me pop my collar for that one time on these hoes. Not hoes, but you know, excuse me. Let me pop my collar one time on them. Shout out to Vallejo.
Hey, I'm just saying, man, Vallejo was the shot. That's where I grew up. That's where I got semi-exposed to everything that I ended up doing. But like I said, I wouldn't trade my life. My folks was really strict. Mom's was a Christian. We couldn't get on our knees to play marbles. We couldn't do none of that shit, man. You know, we couldn't say, okay, I'm gonna wear this to school tomorrow. Mama hear you say that shit, she come and kick your ass. Tomorrow ain't promised to you, boy. You know, she say shit like that. So I grew up with a very negative taste of religion. You know, but my dad, he was a theologist. He knew the Bible backwards and forward, but he wasn't like a preacher or nothing. He was, high up there in the church. But what about him is that it wasn't nothing he couldn't do. Even if he couldn't do it, you couldn't tell him he couldn't do it, until he just, tried it and seen he couldn't do it. But I got that from him. I built my desk. I built all the tables in my living room and shit. Built that lamp. I built pool tables. I done did a lot of shit because I'm like my old man. He used to tell me, boy, God wouldn't let you think of it if you couldn't do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
He used to tell me that, boy, God wouldn't let you think of that if you couldn't do it. So you just got to go do it. And I hear that shit all the time in my head today.
Listen, let me ask you this. You know what? To say that, when I grew up, my OGs was heavy in the church, and one of my OGs was a Jehovah's Witness. So we didn't do birthdays, we didn't do Christmas. Couldn't wear no mask, couldn't watch nothing with no horns, couldn't watch no snakes, none of that. None of that. So you've explained, and I really appreciate that, how you growing up. Can you explain a little bit of blowing up?
Well, being from Vallejo, it was like San Francisco right here, Oakland right here, and all of these is, all the other cities is popping cities. And then Vallejo was like on the outskirts. And it just got to see everything. We got to see Oakland shit, all the pimp shit, we got to see it. But it really, really, really wasn't, in the community of Vallejo. But at the pool hall, the niggas in Vallejo who thought they was slick would be in there talking shit. And once I got old enough, 13, 14, I start going to the pool hall. and I'm in the pool hall, and you got the card players, you got the dice players, you got all these different gamblers, but everybody had something I didn't like about it except them goddamn pimps. Man, them niggas.
Why the pimps? Why the pimps, bro?
Nigga that play dice, he gonna have to get dirty. He might have to get on his knees and shoot some dice. Motherfucker play pool gonna have to lean over the pool table. Hey, motherfucker that play cards gonna have to sit up around a whole bunch of niggas smoking and shit all around him and shit.
Right.
Motherfucker play dice, you gonna have to lean over the table. All this shit, you getting dirty. Them pimp niggas didn't get dirty. Had hell of shit to talk about. And it wasn't pimping hoes. It was everything. Whatever was on the news, groceries.
Okay.
Niggas were talking about all, but they sitting down and they talking woo woo, and two bitches come in, and it's one of these niggas bitch, and the nigga don't even turn around. He's just doing what he doing. They walk up to him and stand there and wait till that nigga acknowledge him. Then they break themselves. Then they turn around and go get this nigga money. Now, I want to do that. I want to do that shit. This nigga ain't said nothing. The only thing he said was what it looked like.
Right.
That's all he said, what it looked like. It looked like this, daddy. Oh, this ain't shit. Get your ass out to give me some money. and they would like skip to the loo. That kind of shit. They would skip to the motherfucking loo to go get that nigga money. Man, that's what drawed me to it. That's what just drew me to it.
So to me, right, the captivation about the pimping lifestyle is what really draws everybody into. And me myself, I wanted to focus on you, the person, the journey, and what you got going on. But since it's out, it's out.
But check this out.
Go ahead.
You won't believe this, but you remember American Pimp, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now that has a lot to do with what we got going on today. I had a lot to do with the niggas that was on American Pimp. Now, before American Pimp, everything that had to do with pimping came on. You might see some success, but you seen murder, you seen jail, you seen all kind of shit, drugs, all kind of bullshit that's out there in the streets. American Pimp came on, and all you seen was success. Even though Dre went to jail, that he didn't look like he was in jail. Who gets interviewed in motherfucking jail?
Sitting on the top bunk.
I'm just saying, the nigga, hey, these pimp niggas. But what's fucked up about that? Is it drew a lot of unwanted motherfuckers to the game. Whereas the Mac or something showed how you could be unsuccessful and showed how you can get killed and showed how you could be on drugs and shit. All this shit showed was how you could Rolls Royce and stand in front of the White House and talk shit. Have 3-4 bitches bringing you some money. Looking fly. And when I went to Park City, Utah, to the Sundance Film Festival to represent that movie. And when I got there, me, the Hughes brothers, we'd get on stage after the shit was over. And first the audience went off on the Hughes brothers. Why would you make some shit like that? they just really went off on them. And then, where did you find these guys? And then they let me talk. And what I'm saying is, they said, well, where did you get your acting skills? And I kept telling them I wasn't acting. And they kept trying to ask me about, my acting methods. I don't have no goddamn acting method. I was being myself. I was a real pimp. Everybody on there was real pimps. The audience, which was full of fucking reporters, went quiet. They could not believe that them was real pimps. They thought the Hughes brothers had put that shit together with one of them big budgets and got some hella actors to portray this shit. And when they realized that shit was real, the whole thing changed. That was the first showing, which they had 3 showings a day. But that was the last showing of the day, but it was the first day. Mm-hmm. And it was like, the audience was like half full. Okay. The next day, the first showing, it was full. The second showing, they had people lined up.
And word got out.
The third showing after after that, the third show was at night. It was lined up around the blocks for 2 weeks. Hey man, now what I'm saying, I'm bragging on that.
As you should. Go and pop your collar right quick. If you feel like if
I'm popping my collar just by being here. I'm 70. Hey, I'm 70, man. Shit. hey, but listen. First, the Hughes brothers, when they first came to me, they had already shot some footage of this nigga with one of his pants legs this color and one of it another color. Then he got on some boots that matches the colors of his pants, but the opposite colors on the leg. Otherwise, some clowns. They had some clowns. They was gonna clown motherfuckers. And I told them, man, because they was talking about, we was watching the OJ trial, and they was telling me, man, that nigga did that shit, man. I said, man, I gotta go, man. I don't even want to fuck with y'all. And they was saying, what's wrong? I said, man, ain't nobody gonna do. They was telling me, nigga, do anything for a white bitch. Nigga, I got hella white bitch. I got hella white. That's what they really thought. A nigga do anything for a white bitch. Nigga, I got hella white bitches. And I know niggas that got white bitches. And what I'm saying is because they come out, they know pimps. Nigga, you wouldn't know a pimp if a motherfucker was standing next to you or eating dinner across the table from you.
That's what you said to the Hughes brothers?
To the Hughes brothers. And I told them, Cause I was refusing. I ain't doing no shit like that with that bullshit. And they say, well, man, what kind of? I said, man, I can introduce you to some real niggas.
Right.
And that's where them niggas.
Fuck the bullshit. Go ahead.
That's where all them niggas came from. All of them, except for them younger dudes. Now they had them younger dudes from wherever, but all them older dudes. Mm-hmm. That made that film what it was, they all came because they was laced for real. Those was real niggas. All giants.
I saw it, and it was and exactly what you said it was, and it was different from Pimps Up, Hoes Down, which was it was totally different. And to know that you was instrumental in organizing that, because like you said, it was headed for a clown show. So major salute to you for being. And it brings me to this, and it's something that I heard you said, and I want to bring it to this, and what you're saying, you being yourself, knowing yourself, and implementing yourself when need be. Can you talk about which brings me to my first question? Can you talk about knowledge of self? And when I first really got into your YouTube, past the Maroy Productions, once I got into your YouTube channel, one of the first videos that I saw from you was being selfish, the importance of being selfish, what it means. If you could just talk about knowledge of self / being selfish, and please, just, if you can.
Well, check it out, man. Yes, I can. That's what Sidewalk University is about. First of all, the identity I was talking about causes you to tell yourself a whole bunch of, the identity crisis I was telling you about that people have. It forces you to accept untruths about yourself, and as you accept those untruths, it could be as simple as, I would talk to baby, but I don't really want to. But the reason you say you don't want to is because you see it's like 6 or 7 other people over there, and you don't really feel comfortable with people hearing you talk to a broad like that. Now, if you tell yourself that instead of the bullshit, you wouldn't have such a problem believing what you think. You know how many lies you tell yourself. You know how often you faking. You know how much you pretend to be this, pretend to be that. So how the fuck can you believe what you think? You can't, man. So that's what we learned first. Stop lying. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. If it's wrong, it's easily correctable. But the bullshit is going to keep you where you at, because I can't help you unless you tell the truth. And it takes me maybe 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks to get through that. And once I get them to understand that whatever lie you tell me, because I don't let them see me when I'm, kicking it with them. They just kicking it in the blind. Because I let them know, I'm going to bust you out. I can tell what you thinking just by hearing what the fuck you say. And periodically, they get to, exaggerating or lying, and I just bust them.
You talking about at your school? You talking about at your school?
I'm talking about at school. Yeah. But what I'm explaining is what dishonesty or lying to yourself does. People, I'm talking about identity crisis. Otherwise, it promotes that, lying to yourself. Lying to yourself makes you not believe the things you think. That's why you have to think, and then you got to think about what you thought. Then you got to think about thinking about what you thought. Then you might do something, but it's too late then. So I teach that in order to, because I believe think it, do it. I teach if you trust what you think. Do you think you're going to think to rob a bank? Do you think you're going to think to kill a cop, kidnap some woman, or rape someone? You ain't going to think none of that goddamn shit. What you're going to think is about your personal life. That's why your first thought is your best thought. Your first thought is the purest thought. The second thought is going to have to go through the things you done been through dealing with this doggone situation. The first thought is the real response that you would do. And you got to trust yourself to do that shit. And dudes don't trust themselves because of what I'm telling you. And that's the value of Sidewalk University. I get them to see who they are. I get you to meet somebody you haven't met in about 15, 20 years. Who the fuck is that? I get you to meet the real you, motherfucker. You ain't faking on me. Period. I already got your money, so if you don't want to learn, don't.
Right.
But if you want to learn, you better listen to what I'm telling you, and you better try to implement it. Because I don't do that rote stuff. Tell you this, tell you that, you remember it, blah, blah, blah. Then you take a test, and then if you get an A on the test, you got an A in the class. Motherfucker, if you get an A on the test, that just tells me you ready to go outside and do the shit for real.
Correct.
In real life, in real time. And no, you can't just go out there. You got to take your phone, put it on record, and record that whole interaction. So I can hear you put this shit down. And that builds strong motherfuckers. And this ain't about talking to bitches. The reason I emphasize talking to bitches is because the average dude, that's the scariest thing in the world for them to do. Be real with a bitch. So if you can be real with a bitch, think about what you can do with that employer or this person you're doing a job for. You know how to spit. And that's why I win. I could talk to people in education, people in business, CEOs, all of them. And they can't believe that I got the pass I got.
Right.
I got straight A's in my master program. Straight fucking A's.
Let me salute. Wait, bro. But let me salute you real quick, because for all my audience, members, I want you motherfuckers to keep it real for a second. You've been in elementary, you've been in junior high, you've been in high school. Some of you motherfuckers definitely been in college. You know how hard it is to maintain straight A's. So right now, be real with yourself and salute a motherfucker. Don't matter who he is, salute a motherfucker getting straight A's, man.
And when I tell my students that, I wait about a week and then I post my record, because I took a picture. I post the shit, all my grades.
That's right.
And let them know, bro, I just look like I talk shit. Actually, I do talk shit. I talk hella shit, but I don't talk no bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, I talk hella shit, But I
So
don't
listen,
like bullshit, man.
I know that, and I love that about, and I love. Can I say this real quick? Me and my man Ali the Hype Man. Shout out to Ali the Hype Man. We talk about things like the minutia, the accuracy, how pettiness became a bad word, but it really means really paying attention to the smallest minute detail. And it seems like you've taken all of these mental aspects so seriously, no matter what avenue you've chosen to be on, and it's paid dividends.
You're right, man. Cause everything is serious. I mean, I laugh, I tell jokes, I do all that, but I don't play. When it's about some business, when it's about talking to my daughter, or if it's about some advice I'm giving somebody, I'm serious, man. Now, what I'm saying is this. First, let me ask you something. Did you know that there is no such thing as one right answer to nothing except mathematical questions? And it's not true, period, for math, because 2 + 2 is 4. But in base 3, 2 + 2 is like shit 21.
So
actually, it's more than 21, because there's no 2's in base 2. 1, 10, 11, 100, 101. That's how you count in base 2. There's no 2's. We count in base 10. That's why you go to 10, then 20, then 30, then all the way. And what I'm saying is, so there is no one right answer.
Listen, I'm sorry. I'm digging on what you're saying, because I was just literally saying this to a friend of mine, because some countries count on base 9. You know what I'm saying? Some countries count on another base. So let me go to my beautiful. You so sharp. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I have to give you. The flowers from me personally. You are so fucking sharp. It's unbelievable. And I hope that in my next couple years and years in the future, whatever, God willing, that I get to be as sharp, accurate, and paying attention to the details. I tell my man it's being able to count sand. You know what I'm saying? It's being able to count sand.
You got to be a motherfucker to do that.
You got to be and shout out to you, because you're a motherfucker. And what I learned is that life is a motherfucker. And when you understand that life is a motherfucker, maybe you'll become a motherfucker. Go ahead.
Man, Sidewalk University do things to make you think outside of the box. First of all, it makes you master what the box is. And if it takes you longer than 2 seconds to master what the box is and implement whatever you substituting for it, then you ain't really thinking. Did you know that the reason computers really, not why Microsoft and all that shit, I'm talking about the very beginning of computers. Do you know why they were started experimenting with the shit? Because
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
Listen, because we think with like 8% of our brain. A genius thinks with about 11 or 12% of his brain. What the fuck do you think we would be thinking like if we thought with 50% of our brain? Now, what I'm saying is this. The reason the computer was designed was because the reason we can't think as fast as we're capable of thinking is because we got too many things cluttering our mind, and we have to decipher. You know, that's why computer is based on ones and zeros, no other numbers. Nothing else. It's going from here to there. That's what a computer does. And if we did that, we would think as fast as a computer. We would think fast. We wouldn't have no distractions. We would think faster than a computer. But what we would do is have all the compassion or whatever else that a computer don't have. I'm telling you, man, shit really is important to know. And I'm so fucking old that I remember all this stuff when they was just bringing it about. They used to have the little thick calculators Before the computer, it was the calculator. And then that calculator got a little bigger and it did a little more and blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, they came up with this computer. But I ain't mad at them.
Right, but what you it's all patterned after the wonder of the mind, of the brain.
Its origin is from people's wonder or imagination of what the brain could do. If it didn't,
without the distractions.
Without the distractions, without your life events. If you just let your brain be sharp as fuck, man, you would be a monster, bro. And this is why I tell them, you don't want to take a long time to think. You want to think fast, and you got to stop being afraid of making mistakes. That's their biggest problems. You know, they scared to make a mistake. Hell, I didn't want to make no mistakes, but I sure made some. But the ones I made helped me be sharp. You mistakes are the best teachers. You can't, I mean, you can do well if you do it right. But you can't depend on doing it right all the time. What you gonna do when you make a mistake? You gotta make a mistake. You gotta come back. Right. You know, it's just, you know, and most of my theory is based on street things. Let me tell you something about the streets. First of all, higher learning is taking what's already considered as facts and learning some information, and you taking that fact and showing how to do it another way. And that's how things get done. That's how things improve. What I'm saying is higher learning is a situation where if you can't take whatever you learned today and apply it tonight, right, you ain't learned shit. You know, because in school, you know, you could take this, you could hear this, learn that, blah, 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 take the test, get an A on the test, and go home 2 days later, somebody asks you about it, and you don't even remember the shit. You know, can
I say this real quick? It's like show and prove.
Yeah, you're right. But see, the way I was explaining, that's called rote learning, ROTE learning. Active learning is entirely different. Otherwise, okay, you took the test. You got an A. So you should have no problem going outside and doing whatever you got that A on. That's where that active learning kills rote learning. Because if you fucking can do it tonight, you can do it tomorrow. And that only means you got to keep practicing to do it better. But if you don't ever do it, you just see how to do it, then you ain't shit. You got to go out there and do it. And that's where my school, you know, just kill them. Because you got to go talk to this woman. And these are the subjects I want you to cover. Right. Period. Right. And I don't want you to take no long time talking to her, you know, and I want you to be able to recognize if that's the case, giving you action or not. And do you know what I emphasize?
Talk to me, bud.
Hey, no objectifying, no talking about their eyes or their curves or anything like that. Now, you may can say something about their complexion or how they wearing their makeup, but about that objectifying, nah, man, you got to learn how to talk to a woman, not at her. Now, I teach that.
The intricacies.
How you think a nigga like me catch bitches?
Hey, listen, real quick, for my audience, please pay attention. What he's saying is this. What he's talking about is transcending through all stages of your life. All stages. We're talking about refinement at the highest level. Go ahead.
So no, well, you know, you getting it, you know, and I'm telling a lot that I never really tell. you know, because I'm telling a lot that's going on in Sidewalk University. You know, I be wanting people to be interested, but you know, just
And I don't want you to. I don't want you to. I know you got an incredible curriculum, and shout out to you.
I ain't messing nothing up.
Okay, Ben. If you want me to move on to the next question, just let me know.
Man. All right, move on to the next question.
All right, here we go. Now, I heard you speak about competition and being competitive. Can you talk about that? Can you talk about some of the
hell yeah. Let me tell you something. First of all, you can't outrun me. You can't outtalk me. You can't whistle louder than me. I can't think of any fucking thing you could do better than me.
Go ahead.
And what I'm saying is, if I didn't grow up like that, kill me. I grew up like that from like 7 years old. You drop the ball, you gotta race the motherfucker to get it. And you ain't getting it, I'm getting it. I'm just saying, man. Competition has been eliminated from our growing up. Because that's why all the kids get to get trophies. Motherfucker, you don't get no. Hey, listen to this. I had been begging my dad to come watch me run because I was fast.
Mm-hmm.
And finally he came, and this was a big meet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was creaming that my dad was up there, man.
Go ahead.
So I get in.
Shout out my dad real quick. Shout out my dad. Go ahead.
I get in the box, you know, and they shoot the gun. I take off. I'm good. I came in second.
Mm-hmm.
But I had broke the school record. I looked up at my dad and he was pulling off. He was pulling off.
Dad, where you going? Dad, where you going?
When I got home, I say, Pops, did you see? He said, boy, you think I'm going to come see you lose? You crazy.
Oh, man.
Pops told me that. Anything but a win is a loss. My daddy wasn't no joke, man.
Shout out to real dads. I'm gonna take a moment to shout out real fathers, strong dads. We got major love for you here at the Smoker Section. I'm gonna shout out to Real Talk with Rosebud. Anybody that had AskRosebud.com, the Smoker Section at gmail.com. Excuse me, AskRosebud at gmail.com. Let me just take a break, a pause for the call, and shout out to your father. And I want to say that fathers matter. They can solve, I would say, 70% of the world's problems right now. Let me say this. If you would like to take the time to shout out any social media, any place that people can find you, anything that you want people to shout out where they can find you, please take this time. Go ahead.
Hey, you can find me really, the real talk with Rosebud. My site, rosebudtheauthor.com. You know, I done wrote 21 books. 9 of them is on my site. So I'm saying I got a lot of stuff. Then I got, you know, SWU, you know, I got my audio. I'm doing a lot of things with my books audio wise right now. And the Pimp book that I made audio is doing so good. They want me to make the other books audio. So I'm finna do all that. I got brand new equipment with my new place. I'm finna get, you know, busy.
Listen, I thank you for that. And I want everybody to go out there and AskRosebud.com, Rosebud the author. I've been checking. Listen, real quick.
AskRosebud at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. I'm such a caveman. Forgive me.
I had AskRosebud.com a long time ago for many years. Mm-hmm. But you know, problems with that fool I was dealing with. You know, take it, man.
Well, you know, ups and downs. Yes,
you know, that's why I had to change it to rosebudtheauthor.com.
Listen, I've been watching you since you had, like I said, you had the white wall, you switched to the blue wall, and now you're back to the white wall. and I want to say personally for myself, you were the inspiration here for the Smoker Section. I don't have no degrees or nothing, but that don't mean nothing. What I'm saying is, your YouTube success, I've been watching and I have been absolutely and super impressed, super astonished by your continual growth. 24,000 subscribers, and I was listening to a guy that does YouTube education, so to speak, and he says that 10,000. Shout out to Roberto Blake. Shout out to Roberto Blake. If you want to get some insight on how to get your channel going, check him out on Twitter, YouTube, all of that. He was saying that 10,000 is a very hard milestone to achieve. And we just want to celebrate you and shout out to you for the dominance and the longevity and the consistency that you've been showing on YouTube. Can you talk about how YouTube has been for you?
Well, believe it or not, man, YouTube is really all I use. I strictly depend on being physically able to get up 3-4 times a week and make them videos. But what I do and what I make sure I do is I write out what the hell I'm finna say. I don't say stuff off the top of my head because I be having points that I want to make. And if you talk off the top of your head, you got so many ideas going through your head. Something might come up because you use the word explaining this, and it made you think of that. And see, I get lost. So I write my shit down, and then I put it in bullet points. And what I'm saying, longevity, and what makes me viable is that I'm organized. Even though I act like I'm not organized, I act like I don't give a fuck about organization. But that's the nigga in me. Bet my shit organized.
Right. Go ahead.
Hey, you go in my closet, you see color, all that shit, man. I'm very organized. But for some reason, I just act like I'm not, and I don't know. It makes me real. It makes me a real person because all that organizing, that's not really you. You didn't grow up doing that. I grew up totally unorganized. Had to get whoopings. All that goddamn shit. That shit is still in me. That shit is really me. I just learned to be another way. And the other way, yes, was better. So yeah, I be that way every time or each time that I can. But as far as my preference, man, give me some nigga shit.
Right.
Give me some. Give me some nigga shit.
I would say this, right? Because I guess I want to give niggas more credit, and us being in that category, I think that we have seen the value of organization. Once you see what it can do for you, how it can save you time, how it can put you in a winning position, I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Well, it is, but you know what? I'm organized like this. Sometimes, well, I don't do this a lot lately, but back in the day, if I say I'm gonna be there at 3:00, and if you tell me you're gonna be there at 3:00, all the way to 3:59, it's 3:00 to me. That's just me. And that's how all of us used to think, man. Ain't nobody finna do nothing right just cause whatever motherfuckers. Man, I said 3-ish.
Right. let me say this, but because once again, shout out to my man Ali, the hype man, who has really helped me on this journey. We talked about, and this is kind of like going back to what you said earlier about, and this is my view, how the Hughes brothers want to dress up motherfuckers in different color outfits and clown the game and this, that, and the third. When I really listen to you and other people, and y'all stress the importance of truth and telling the truth, it is something that resonated with me and my community personally, my personal family, and even let's say and this is something that me and Ali the hype man, we really hold dear. Let's say he say, I'm gonna be there at 4 o'clock, and 4:05 or 4:10 come up. You a liar. And it's not something that we put on each other, but it's an accountability that says, mean what you say what you mean, stand on it, and do the best you can. Now, it's not something that, like I said, we give each other shit about, but it's something that we have really awakened to, and we appreciate a person's effort. And even in that even in that small, tedious window of time, and how difficult that can be, if you can master that, we see that transcending on many levels. And like we said, telling the truth and being able to, like you said, you're gonna be there be there at 4. But like you said, I understand what you're saying, but
yeah, but listen,
go ahead.
You might not be missing it. I didn't say it, but like I did say, I don't do that much anymore. If I say 4, I'm there at 10 minutes to 4. You know, these days, and you see, I was here. You know, when
you was here a half hour early. You was here a half hour early. No shit.
When I say I'm gonna be somewhere, you know, I'm gonna be there, because I did learn that was kind of fucked up. But back in the day, man, I ain't on your time. I'm on mine. You know, I'm on my time, and I thought it was gonna be 3 o'clock, but it's 3:57. Now what? You don't want to do it? The motherfucker's gonna say, "Yeah, well, come on, quit crying."
That's right. That's right. Let me move to another question, man. And like I said, I really appreciate the discussion. Let me move to the I would like to move to accuracy. Like we were just talking about the truth and being truthful and things of that nature. Can you speak about the benefits and some of the surrounding aspects of accuracy?
I don't know that people don't realize this, but see, I teach that conversation can be used as a tool or a weapon. But to do either one, you have to be very accurate in what the fuck you saying. You can't say some kind of word and leave it up to them to know what you're talking about. You got to say shit in small words, preferably 2 syllables or less. And that way your point is clear. And once you learn how to do that, it sounds like you just have a shallow conversation, but you don't. You just choose the words that you need to say to make this person go with what you want. And that's all it is. And if you are very accurate, or you critically think about shit, you won't say this and not know what that motherfucker is gonna say in response. I be knowing what they gonna say. I be knowing. I mean, I'm not exactly they gonna say come see the cat. I'm not, saying I know that, but I'm saying if I know come see the cat is directly what she wanted to say, she gonna say something like, I was thinking about, checking that cat out, something like that. Some kind of way she gonna say what I'm thinking. I'm telling you, I'm like that. That's why I don't really miss too many broads. I don't really talk to them like I used to, but I don't miss because I read them very well. And if you know how to speak, you're leading them anyway.
Right.
Period.
Right.
You're leading them, so they're gonna be responding to you. So shit, that's game, man.
I love the emphasis that you put on the power of conversation, and moreover, the power of paying attention to what you're saying and the importance of what you're saying in the conversation. For a person like me, it's an absolute cornucopia to listen to you. And we here at the Smoker Section really appreciate all the work that you've put in on YouTube for free and giving up yourself. Sometimes 2 times a day. You understand what I'm saying?
But check this out. It's never for free because I get rewarded. People buying my shit. They want to come to my school. So what I'm doing you know, because I talk about shit all the time that involves thinking. And what I'm doing is showing how every time I come on here, if I talk about running 5 times, then I'm talking about running for 90 minutes each time.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have 5 different 90-minute sections on running. Because I got that much to say about any subject. Period. You know, and so they may have similar titles and shit, but they just be different, man. And I'm blessed with that. I'm blessed. Listen, talk about my dad. He would say, Johnny, I'm in the bathroom pissing. Soon as he said, the piss cut off. The piss cut off, and I go see what he want. My daddy was a motherfucker, man. But I'm telling you, I love him to death. I'm just like him. I'm just like him. He make me sick. I'm so much like him. Boy,
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And listen, I grew up in the 90s, and I grew up around a couple kids that may have had a dad, a couple kids that didn't have the dad. And to be honest with you, I always could tell the difference.
Yeah, you can tell the difference, man. My dad, there was respect for him, but more than respect, he put fear in our motherfucking ass. You better be scared of me than what I'll do to you. Now, why do you think he did that?
I'm not guessing with you, bud. Talk to me. I'm not playing no. I'm not stepping in no landmines with you, nigga. Talk to me.
One time, I asked Pops, why'd you do? Why do you make us scared of you like that? You ain't really that mean. You know, I'm grown, not talking to him.
Right.
Pops said, boy, if you ain't scared of me when you walk out that door, how you gonna be scared of them goddamn police? You better recognize authority and be, you know, in your place. Because my old man, he didn't grow up as a slave, but he grew up really close to slave times. Mm-hmm. And shit. Fuck your right. Your right is to live. The motherfucker kill you talking about your goddamn right. That's what my dad used to tell me. You know, we used to do that, you know, the Black Power marches and all that shit. Look, boy, you know, you can go out there. But, you know, when the time comes, you better stand down because they will kill you. And then they're going to be talking about, he had a right to do what right I got laying down there dead. Shit, my old man used to talk to me like that, man. Boy, you got to use your head. And he used to do that. He used to
talk about it, bud. Talk about it.
Do that. Use your head, boy. You know, and then sometimes he just take his fist. That's called mauling your head. he would maul my motherfucking head. God damn, that shit hurted. That shit would hurt. But I got 12 brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. You ain't gonna believe this shit. Listen to this. My oldest sisters were head of the government relations for the university systems of California. My oldest brother had 40 houses he passed. My brother next to him was a international singing motherfucker. And then my brother next to him is the head of quality control, or was, he retired too, the head of quality control for Ford Motor Company, Western United States. And then my sister, after King, I got another brother after King that was a head designer for the underground cables for PG&E. Then I got a sister. Now my sister's like me. I got a brother that was like me too, but that sister was like me in them streets, and then Gip was in them streets too, and then me, and then my brother after this brother, who's younger than me. Mm-hmm. He had, I think his government clearance is an H level. You know, G.
Wait a minute. A, B, C, D. What come at E?
E, F, G, H. And every time you hear about government levels, the high level is the G level. This nigga. So when he went to an interview for the job, I'll never forget this. You know, he had qualified that he's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
They snuck in on it and they say, "What would you do about your brother John?" He said, "Huh? What would you do about your brother John? You know about him, don't you?" Steve said, "Fuck John." they hired his ass. That's what he was supposed to say, man. The motherfucker was supposed to say, "That's my brother," but no, man, fuck John.
You got me on that one. You got me on that.
That shit was cool to me. When he told me that, I said, "Man, you were supposed to say that." He said, "I felt bad saying that." You were supposed to say that, man, nigga.
Man, that's a funny. Listen, you know, I think I've heard you. To me, like I said, your interview with Maroy, I watched the whole thing. It was like an hour, and it was more than an hour.
Yeah, it was.
I watched the whole thing, and to hear you talk about your family, it blew my mind, and it was awesome. And you know, I just want to shout out to that interview and you opening up and really being yourself, man. It was, and really, like I said, that's kind of, I guess, be honest with you, that's what kind of drew me to say, you know what, this man has a perspective that comes from not the street, but at the same time, it's a work ethic that he applied. And really, it didn't matter if he was in the street, if he was in a factory, if he was in a school, if he was on a football on a field. You know, he was going to have what it takes to be in the mix and compete. That's the word that sticks out of my head when I think about you.
That comes from my parents. That my mama, I mean, she didn't say win. She wasn't like that. But you couldn't quit. You better not quit. You know, and pops, you just better know everything. You know, I'm serious when I tell you this. Johnny, and he said, "What is so and so and so and so?" And I come in there and say, "I don't know. I got a whooping." You know why?
I heard you say that before. Go ahead.
I got a whooping because my daddy didn't like you saying I don't know. That means you ain't even thinking. You ain't even trying to think, talking about you don't know. You better give the wrong answer. At least you try. I learned that after a while fucking with my daddy, man.
Excuse me while I like this. Excuse me. Give me 1 second.
Go ahead, man.
It's a beautiful interview, man. I listen. I listened. Now, I didn't read Iceberg Slim. I listened to the audiobook, the entire thing on YouTube. And this was kind of in the mix of the Maroy, because Maroy is who introduced me to the reality, correct? And doing the contrast, doing the comparison. And can I take this moment to shout out Hollywood Shantae, because I've watched y'all in tandem. Okay,
that's my nigga, man.
I've watched y'all in tandem.
Yeah.
And the things that y'all bring to the YouTube, they transcend in it doesn't matter what field, it doesn't matter what aspect or area that you find yourself in. These are valuable principles that you guys bring out, and it's so beneficial. And so, you know, just I really thank you. I don't know. I really thank you for not just being on the show, but for deciding to say, hey, you know what? I'll start a YouTube. I'll talk to people and start a conversation. And not only that, start like you said, the thinking. What you telling me from your father, the thinking is so important. Go ahead, please.
No, you nailed it, man. If I had to wrap it up and say something, if you don't critically think about it, you may as well have not thought. You know, your first thought, as far as reacting on it, of course, but when it's a plan, that first thought is very good. But you gotta break it down. And one last thing, you have to break it down, and the reason you want to break it down is because people say, I want to open up a business, and until they open that business, they don't see success. No, opening up that business is in phases. First of all, you want to get you some distributors. Then you want to get you a location. Maybe not in the order I'm saying, but I'm saying the first step is way easier to do than go into business. And when you take that first step and you successfully get a distributor, fuck, you did something. You got to compliment yourself. You got to act like you didn't move the world. Now you ready to do something else. Now what you doing when you do it like that is, to get that business, you have one big foundation. That's why it's so hard to get it. But these little steps, you have little platforms. They add up to little platforms to build that motherfucking base. And it have a strong, sturdy foundation because of the things you did to get to where you are that weren't overlooked. You gotta be totally into yourself and your accomplishments. That's what I think.
Listen, I loved it when you told the story that you and Shantae threw that huge party, and the motherfuckers tried to fuck with you at the desk, and you was like, "Fuck you, motherfucker! Here's the money, motherfucker. Book the room." I love that shit. Can I say this? Listen, I'm drinking and I'm smoking. I'm getting ready to come out my motherfucking character, man, because I love that type of shit. And the fact that y'all motherfuckers use your mind, use your style, use your class, use your mouth, use your words, use your intelligence. Like you said, motherfuckers got the wrong. Let me just say this real quick for all my listeners. Y'all motherfuckers got the wrong idea about the pimping thing, because motherfuckers got the wrong idea about life and what it takes about life. And so I told you one time when you was talking with the other dude, when motherfuckers hear the word game, they start thinking of playing.
Yeah.
And it ain't no play. It ain't no play thing. There ain't no fucking play.
We all refer to it as the game because the people in the game is referred to as players. But see, those words has been, misused and fucked up so much that when I came out, we didn't want to be called players. We're gonna be called pimps. And you're gonna call a bird a bird. You ain't finna call a bird that flying thing because you don't want somebody to know what you're talking about or whatever. No secrecy as far as shame. None of that. But total secrecy as far as explaining or detailing anything about it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's been mind blowing. It's been a paradigm that not many people have ventured into, and if they do come in, they come in with a crazy idea, corrupted idea from what the media and everything has given to them. But to hear a person talk about their values, their principles, their philosophy, what they hold true, is what can really, like I said, just really transcend. Like I said, you could be a doctor, you could be a sports player. It doesn't fucking matter to me. And I've been blessed and beneficial to have this conversation, and really to like I said, I got to shout out Maroy once again, just for, like I said, me being on a YouTube tip and hunting and just trying to find good content. He gave me good content, but it opened up a universe. You understand what I'm saying? That it's continuing to feed hungry people. Can I share now real quick? Going back to your YouTube message, your personal message right now for young men, and I, like I said, maybe no matter where they find themselves, if they're on the outside trying to get in, trying to get active, trying to get more confident, trying to be a better them, I think it's timely. I think it's incredible. I think it transcends race and age. right? Race and age, because I'm 41.
Nationality, countries, motherfuckers that just barely speak English, them African motherfuckers, they come in my you know, they got all kinds of ideas of women, you know, and you know, first then they get to having that accent. And I tell them, wait, you African motherfucker, you in the United States. God damn it, ain't no motherfucking bitch gonna be doing that goddamn. I talk to them like that. But when I do, they damn near lose their accent and everything.
Listen, can I say something? You have had some epic grind ups. I'm not sure if any of my audience is familiar with the Rosebud Show. This man has grinded people into granulated salt. This man has grinded people into cornmeal. I've seen it, and then dismiss them. And to me, it was necessary because it's a lot of attention whores in this world, period.
Yeah.
And to be able to see who they are, to be able to decipher who's who, and then dismiss that. I love that about what you do. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I'm good, man. We didn't talk about just about everything.
Okay. I'm sorry. Listen, let me go here now. I appreciate you. Snoop Dogg has he had GGN Network, which was an incredible show, and he had a lighthearted kind of segment where he just asked his guests just some lighthearted questions. We've moved from the serious stuff, and I really appreciate everything you've divulged through that. And I'm sure it's going to raise my audience exponentially. I'd like to ask you some lighthearted questions, if that's okay.
Come on, man.
Okay, what is your favorite food?
Man, spaghetti and meatballs. I love spaghetti and meatballs with some cornbread.
Cornbread is essential in a lot of my meals. Shout out to the cornbread. I've kind of turned away from spaghetti because that is one of our young women's staple. They cook that a lot in their life, and so we've kind of looked for something more for something new. Let me ask you these questions. This is a versus. Will you pick one? I'll go through a couple lists, and you tell me which one better suits you and your style. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Linen versus silk.
Linen.
Barbershop versus do-it-yourself.
Do it myself.
Crepe Suzette versus Belgian waffle.
Crepe Suzette.
Ooh, he's a fly ass nigga. I went for Belgian waffle because I like waffle, but you's a fly ass nigga. Can I just pause and say, y'all, you Hollywood Shantae, I watched Jimmy Star, I watched, like I said, Gangsta Brown. Shout out to y'all because it ain't about nothing that anybody else deal with. I deal with the motherfuckers who take care of themselves 2-3 showers a day, different kind of colognes and perfumes, which you was talking about match. I shouldn't even have said that shit, you bum ass niggas. I shouldn't even get that type of game. But it's just beautiful. It's beautiful because I love to hear niggas taking care of themselves, getting your nails done and all of that. Let me say this. And this is Tom versus Jerry. Tom the cat versus Jerry the mouse.
I think I like Jerry.
Let's go. Joint versus blunts.
Joints.
Me too, baby. Shout out to that.
Mm-hmm.
2-door versus 4-door.
4-door.
Ooh, I want to say rest in peace to my brother Aaron. He loved 2 doors. Excuse me, he loved 2 doors. Tyson versus Ali.
Ali.
Ooh, Mr. Rosebud, I want to thank you for your time. It's been a pure pleasure, a wonder, an amazement, and we are blessed to hear the Smoker Section. Anything final that you would like to say?
Actually, bro, I actually enjoyed this interview. I mean, it was light, you know, and even your serious questions was light, and you didn't have any preperceptions. You know what I'm saying? And that's very unique because everybody coming from their point of view. Shout out.
And that means a lot to me. And this was a great conversation. And shout out to everybody who tuned in. And maybe we'll have more conversations. Y'all stay tuned to find out. And good luck to you and everything you got going. Blessings from the Most High. And I
All right,
appreciate it.
my brother. Thank you for asking me to be on. I appreciate it.
Salute to you.
All right.